You know, there's nothing like cracking that cellophane and pulling that record out. It just smells great.
Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Non-stop hardcore energy.
I love the show, guys. You're awesome.
Unlike any other.
With your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bod Father.
Man, this stuff rocks.
Hi, everybody. This is Alex from Owl, and you are listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
The views and opinions of the guests do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Hour, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I am your host, John the Bod, aka the Bod Father, and as always, I bring you guys and gals awesome interviews. Today, it's an honor and a huge privilege to welcome Alex. He is the guitarist of Owl and California-based psychedelic prog metalers. Owl has released their third full-length album entitled Geomancy via Lummox Records. And we got Alex on here to talk about this bad boy. So welcome to the podcast for the first time. I'm glad to have you on here.
Thanks, man. I'm glad to be here. Yep, just got off work. So, yeah, I'm ready to cut loose, say what I've been wanting to say all day.
Dude, I'm telling you, this is my sanctuary. You know, I got work just like everybody else, but this is my sanctuary. It's like, fuck off. Do not ever come. No. When I'm doing my interviews, leave me be. This is us. So how did this band get started in 2007?
2007, I don't even know what we were really doing then. So three of us are brothers. The way it kind of came about was little bro, he's 10 years younger than me. I went home some holiday or another, and he had some songs. He was picking up a guitar, and he wanted to try to work out these songs. He had the idea to do a heavy band, and he wanted to call it Owl, but it was like he wanted to do Budgie, Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, Rush, all these kind of old proto-metal inspirations. He was like a 13-year-old at the time. So he kind of brought me in. He had an album all planned out. I was already playing guitar for a long time at that point. So we jammed on some stuff. That turned into a demo. And then after a couple of years, that demo got around to our third brother, who's older than me. And he's a well-known drummer in the area. So he jumped on board, and that demo got developed a little and turned into our first album.
You want to strangle each other? Sometimes just want to wring their necks?
Want to, or have we? Because the answer is yes and yes. I think about once every tour, somebody gets choked.
Now, you guys traveled for 2 years, you know, on tour, wrote stuff like that. Then you released Screech on tape. So how difficult was the touring, you know, just for those 2 years? And did it allow you to cut your teeth for the road and as a band?
Oh, yeah. Hard to gauge since it was a long time ago. But 2012, 2013, we did tour heavily. It came with a lot of trials. It came with a lot of difficulty, a lot of unexpected things, having to respond to van breakdowns and members, semi-quitting on the road, things like that. Built a lot of character, though. We definitely had some good times, some tours that were almost, miraculously flawless in their execution. But, yeah, I would say that getting out there and doing it made us all better musicians, certainly me. I don't think I would have considered myself a good guitar player until I put all those shows under my belt and had to respond every night to the energy of a crowd and learn how to play through mistakes. So it really helped me to become a better musician and more of a professional on that level. And I feel like due to that experience, I think we've played something like 400 shows now in total.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Congrats, that's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah. But I think that's made us ready for any situation. You can throw us on a stage and we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it all right. Even if we blow it, we're gonna make it look good.
See, that's the beauty of it. You've got to be on your A game. Just as a podcaster, you've got to be on your A game every single episode and every show that you guys do. And it had to be nerve-wracking at some points for you to come on and be like, and plus, this is where you find out if you really want that road life to be a musician. You know, it's not like we're going to get a record deal in 2 weeks, guys. Yeah,
So,
it ain't like that. That's what you see on TV is bull crap.
you better believe it. Especially these days, the money's not there like it was in the 70s. There's no record sales, CD sales. There's not really a money gravy train for rock and roll at this point. So if you're doing it, you're doing it for the love.
A lot of these bands now, man, are complaining that these venues are taking a cut of their merch sales. And I think that's a catastrophe, man. That should never happen.
It makes no sense to me. Yeah.
No.
The venues have always been sketchy, one of the sketchiest parts of the music business. And it's like, in a way, it's unfortunately not surprising that they would want to get into that game. But they're just gouging. You're like squeezing blood from a stone. You're talking about these bands that are barely able to tour financially, and you're trying to take a cut of one of their best revenue streams, which is merch. I think it's obscene.
What's been the most heated discussion the band has had about a song being worked on or an album name during the rehearsals or anything, man?
Wow, that's a good question. I never heard that one before, but I have it. Like, the answer was right there. We had a song called Last Caveman, and it was about the, unfrozen caveman scenario where he's like stranded in a strange world. So I wanted to make some changes to it at the last minute before tour. Being an artiste, I couldn't let that go. A little older, supposedly wiser now. Anyway, that became a whole ordeal, and we've never performed that song live now because we just couldn't agree on what to do with it. Ultimately, it just turned into a heated argument, and it's lost in the demos somewhere.
It will be brought back soon, guys. It'll be brought back soon. It'll raise its head. Trust me, it'll be back from the dead.
Right on.
After the original bassist, Melanie Burkett, left to pursue other endeavors outside of the music, and everybody does that, then enters the ultimate Iron Maiden fan, Jamie. Let's talk about that. What has he brought to this band that may have been missing possibly? And I'm not knocking Melanie or anything like that. I'm just saying, what was his vibe coming in?
Yeah, definitely. So I should let you know, Jamie's no longer in the band. He had to leave to go become a father and, other things as well. He hasn't quit music entirely, but Magic Spiegel is our current bass player. I'll talk about Jamie since you brought him up. Great bass player, great musician, got a good history of being involved in the punk scene, the 805 Ventura. He was with Annihilation Time, legendary band from the West Coast for a while before Owl. So what he brought, he had this kind of like acrobatic, like Iron Maiden-y bass thing. He was really good at playing counterpoint to the kind of dual leads that we do. So our guitar stuff is interweaving. It's not fully rhythm and lead. It's kind of like these two voices that are kind of battling to find space. And then Jamie just was really good at finding a way to get in there and keep it interesting. He did a great job of adding melodic bass lines, keeping up with our sort of prog sensibilities. Magic, on the other hand, is kind of more of a workhorse. He's a great independent learner, so he's able to just come in and be ready to play songs at any time. And he's also got a lot of expertise in things like beer making and mushrooms, so he's a good guy to have around.
You guys started tracking for Geomancy back in June of 2016, and you finally finished in March of 2019. Right. Tell me how difficult this was to set on this and be like, we got to start doing something.
Arduous, insanely difficult process. Not sure why. It seemed like there was always one more thing that we had to catch up to, pay for. There was always a new snag. So it was like by the time we were ready to press the records, the pandemic was on and all the record plants were backed out a year, 15 months. So we just, every time we thought we were ready to take the next step, there was a new delay. So it's unfortunate, but we did finally get it out there.
But during that pandemic, though, Alex, did that give you guys enough time to go back and re-listen and rethink and say, hey, look, maybe we need to change this on this part or just spice it up a little bit?
Sort of. We didn't really do any tracking during the pandemic, but what we were agonizing over was like the track order. And so we had to get a remaster. We were trying to make it a 45-minute record at one point, two sides. But we had all this material. We had done this before where we'd recorded more material than we needed for an album and had decided that was a mistake. So this time we're just like, let's put it all out there. Let's put everything we got in the mix. And I think we made the right choice. We got a 3-sided LP, 60 minutes of music, and definitely our most ambitious and craziest record yet.
See, and that's the beauty of this, man. You don't ever see hardly any more of the double discs. You hardly ever see that anymore. It's like EP, full length, that's it, done.
Pretty much.
And before you could buy the double disc, it's like, all right, I've got a ton of music to listen to. Now it's just like a, I don't know. It's like a ghost in the wind. There's no more of it.
I know. There's a cool, like, epic quality that comes with just the double LP. But I will mention that for people that are interested in purchasing the record, it's very limited edition on the LP. CD is coming out end of this month. So that'll be available for much cheaper. But that LP is not going to last.
You did mention about the track listing, and that's one of my big questions, like how difficult or how important is it for the track listing placement on this album, especially this double LP? How difficult was it to, put everything in order where it needs to go?
Yeah. I think once we figured out that we were using everything we had, all the recordings, I think it came together pretty quickly. It was pretty clear we wanted to do kind of the more accessible stuff on side 1, get into side 2 with a little more of the brainiac stuff, and then side 3 with the really epic songs.
So how good does it feel to finally have this third full-length album, Geomancy, in the album music library finally, and be done with it and just move on?
Yeah, it's like it's unbelievable. It's just a huge relief. It's almost like I never thought it would be done, and now it's like, it's like I can hear birds singing again. I can see the sun. Yeah, it's really that much of a difference.
He hears the angels sing.
Right.
Do you feel this album is more darker than previous albums that you guys have released?
Yeah, this is a more intentionally dark record. Definitely mining the psychological depths, trying to get to get to kind of the heart of insanity that drives us.
What led the track Minion of the Amethyst Cave to be the first song released off this? Right,
that's an Axl song. And it's got a great guitar hook at the beginning. So I think we all agreed that was a good way to kind of bring people in. It also tackles pretty heavy subject matter about basically the history of Native Americans, kind of the difficult times that a lot of them have had to go through. So it talks about that. The lyrics are very poetic, pretty strong songs, short. So I thought it'd be a good single.
I know this isn't going to be a crazy question, but do you feel like every album has to come out swinging at some point or no?
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially at this point after we've done Screech and, we've learned a lot on the road. We're like, we don't want to do an album just to, fill time. I don't think any of us really have time to do that. So when we go in and we know what the investment really looks like, we're like, we want this to be a real banger every time out.
Any track standing out more to you, Alex, than any right now on this album? I know these songs are your guys' babies. I understand that, but are there any that stick out for you personally?
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I don't want to sound egotistical, but yeah, there's I would say Runes. That's the second song on the record. Very proud of that one. It's just something that was actually inspired by a David Bowie song. And then I kind of got the guitar hook in my mind. It's kind of how I compose songs. I'll hear somebody else's song. It'll transform in my mind to something else. I feel like the composition on that one is really strong and takes you on a journey that mirrors the kind of path to insanity that I was going for in the song. So I like how that one kind of worked out.
Any songs that didn't make this album we could see on another album, or just a standoff or lone single from you guys, or on an EP maybe?
We hope so. So the thing about Owl is pretty prolific behind the scenes, and we've stockpiled maybe a dozen more songs that haven't even, seen the light of day yet. So it probably won't be a single anytime real soon, but we do have plans for future releases. Working on a 4th album. We're hoping for a release date of next year. And then we've got an album's worth of outtakes demos that we have been planning for a long time. We got everything. It's all recorded. We just need to compile it, master it, put it out. So
there you go. B-sides album. There you go. Right there.
Yep, the B-sides.
What's the growth musically you've seen from yourselves working on this album compared to working on previous albums like Awaken, Jupiterian, and even Screech? What have you seen that sticks out for you, for everybody that says, hey, I can see the growth from where we started till now?
This record, I think we kind of found our stride on this one. I think this is the one where we really set out with an intention to make a certain kind of album and kind of explored the limits of our songwriting style. We always wanted to be heavy. We always wanted to be complicated, difficult to imitate, progressive. And I think we kind of pushed that to a certain extreme with this record, whereas before we kind of hinted at it.
This album was recorded, mixed, and mastered by Justin Weis at Trackworx. I guess he's worked with Hammers of Misfortune, Swamp Witch, Orthodox. How's working with him on this, man?
Oh, yeah, man. He was great. Boy, he really was patient with us. We took forever. I know that myself and Axel in particular, the two of us were very perfectionistic, always striving to make the songs more and better. It led to a lot of additional sessions, extra tracking. So, I'm impressed with Justin Weis for his patience going through that process and the fact that the album sounds great. We knew he'd do a good job, so we just thank him for hanging in there and seeing it through.
Do you think that he got something out of you guys that maybe somebody else might not have gotten, possibly?
Yeah, maybe. I think so. I think it makes a big difference who you work with because, and we've always worked with great engineers. But I think, he's pretty no nonsense. Justin Weis is pretty no nonsense in the studio, but he's also, he also wants to get the best performance out of you. And so I think he struck a very good balance of, making sure, he had a great sense of if that was not going to be exactly what we wanted. If you play a swanky note on a solo, he would actually let us know. So he didn't just get lazy at any point. And I think, a lesser engineer might have just said, I'm over this. It's good enough.
Yeah. All right, folks, Chris Corona did the artwork for this album, and here is the artwork right now. Did he get exactly what you guys were looking for, and how was working with him on this?
Great, except that he took a long time. But that's all right, because we took a long time, too. So by the time he unveiled this artwork, we were all really excited by the, just kind of how mind-bogglingly insane that record cover is. We like the perspective. It looks kind of like California in a dystopian post-apocalyptic future. Got the mountain lion on there. It's kind of our spirit guide right there. So yeah, we're really happy with the album cover, and Corona's always been a good dude.
What do you hope everyone takes away while listening to these new songs, or just any of your guys' music in general? What do you hope they get from it?
My personal goal with it is not too ambitious. I think I would like for younger guitar players to hear it and hear something they haven't quite heard before and start to turn the wheels. How did they play that? How did they put all that together and make this actually sound like a song? So I think that my goal is I always have that in the back of my mind. I never want to get lazy on guitar where I'm just, doing something that isn't that interesting. My music is definitely for people who understand guitar. And I think that shows up by the people that come to our shows. It's mostly musicians. I'm not bragging.
This is the $1 million question. I tell everybody that comes on here, this is the $1 million question. If you could be a member of an iconic band and play one of their legendary shows, Alex, which band would it be in show?
I would want to be, Dio in Dio Sabbath. That would be
Really?
my pick. That's where I would go.
Oh,
But that'd be perfect for me.
that's the first time Dio's been mentioned on here, so that's good. Queen's Live Aid has been mentioned on here a lot.
Oh, really?
That question. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm
All
starting
right,
to appreciate Queen. Yeah, it's taking some time, but yeah, starting to appreciate their complexity.
Hey, man, Queen is one of the most. When I say this, people are going to say you're crazy or stupid, but no, I think they're one of the most underrated bands ever.
They are underrated in a strange way. It's weird because a lot of people love them that don't really like a lot of rock music or a lot of heavy music.
Yep.
But trolling through their discography, and I really do like the first 4 or 5 records. They're just crazy. They got all kinds of crazy parts that come in out of nowhere for like 10 seconds. Just really complex band.
That's what I like about Queen is like every song's different.
Right?
So different. All right, Mr. Alex, how can folks stay in touch with Al? Buy this new album, Geomancy, that's out right now via Lummox Records. How can they do that?
Bandcamp. It's Owl Brotherhood at Bandcamp or .com or whatever. I don't do the internet that much. Owl Brotherhood Bandcamp. You can search us that way. You can check out whatever's new. We'll always post there. And then, if we're touring the West Coast, so if you're on the West Coast, check us out in May, June. We should post those dates up there on Bandcamp as well fairly soon.
I will have all those links in the description of this interview when it posts. So that way, if anybody's out there, they want to listen to this, go pick this stuff up. I'm telling you, go pick it up. They got some good stuff out there. Go get it. Just do it. Give these guys a better shot.
Just do it. Do it.
Just do it.
Do it.
All right, Alex, before I let you go, would you care to do a promo for my show?
I can do that. Hi, everybody. This is Alex from Owl, and you are listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great stuff coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour. Please get out and check out our Facebook page. It has our podcast link and our YouTube link that you definitely want to subscribe to. If you like what I do, please subscribe. No forcing. Just do it if you like it. Please get out and check out Owl as well. Pick up this new album that's out now called Geomancy. Pick up their other stuff, like I said previously, and you will like this band. So, Alex, thank you for doing the interview, man, and you're welcome on here anytime you want.
Bud, thank you much. Rock on.
You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.